All right, second one we're gonna look at, example 5. First, I'm gonna start by drawing the rough circle in there. It's gonna be rough, it's not drawn scale, all that kind of good stuff that we're used to by now. But we have a circle that goes through those 3 points, more or less. What is the radius of the circle and how far is the center? So first I'm gonna start by dropping the center right about there. I know the center is on this side of W, so I can kind of rough it out there. And then the center is below that X, W, Z, because the Y is, WY is so short comparatively. So I can kind of get a little bit of scale going there. Again, not drawn to scale, but, you know, give us something rough. I'm going to start by kind of extending this line straight down right here. It is not a diameter, but it does give me 2 chords that intersect, so I can find the length of each of those pieces. And it's got that nice 90-degree right there, so that I know that I can work with anything that I know 90 degrees about. So I'm going to go 6 times x is equal to 8 times 12. 6x is equal to 96. Yeah, math. X is equal to 16. And there we go. So now I know that this segment that I added in is 16. Now, this is the part where you got to kind of stick with me and watch as I kind of create segments that do what I want them to do. All right, so I'm going to start by drawing a radius that goes right there. And I'm going to draw that radius there because it's going to do a lot of things for me. How do I know to do that? Tons of years of experience. Is this an expectation for the test? No, this is like in level 9 if we're talking about levels up through 8. But just for fun. So now I've created that. This is the part that gets creative. I'm going to draw a line that goes straight up and down from the center, and that's going to give me my distance to the kind of that line. So I know, since I'm creating that distance, I'm going to create that line to be perpendicular. And the same time, I'm going to create a line right there, also perpendicular, that's going to give me that distance right there. And the great thing is, I know, without a doubt, that those green lines are going to bisect those chords that they hit because they come from the center. They are perpendicular, so they must bisect. And so what that means is, I know that this little red segment right there is 10 because the whole chord is 20, so the red segment has to be 10. I know that, let's see, this little purple segment right there that goes up, that whole line segment, that whole chord is 22. So that means that when we split it in half, it's 11, so 6 plus 5, that gets me to the 11 right there. Since I know that that's 10 right there, that extra little bit is 2 over here. So I've created a rectangle that's 5 by 2. Hey, cool, great, awesome, grand, glorious, all that kind of good stuff. But what that does for me is, now that I've created that rectangle, I can work within that rectangle. So let's start by looking at the radius. The radius of that circle is that blue segment right there. And since I know that's 5, same as the opposite, and that's 10, I can go Pythagorean theorem to get my radius. So 5 squared plus 10 squared is equal to, let's call it r squared. 125, square root of 125, okay. Yeah, that would have been easy enough to do in my head, that's okay. R square root of 125, or just 5 root 5. Give me the square root of 125, that's fine. Give me 5 root 5, I'm great with that. Give me a decimal, I can live with that, whatever. I'm gonna call it 5 root 5 just because that's simplest radical form and the most precise. We love precision. How far from the center, all right? When I look at this picture right here, that distance from the center is from W right down to the center. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is actually one of the diagonals of that rectangle. I'm gonna give myself a little more room here. And I'm gonna draw that in a little focus. That's 5, that's 2, And let's call that d for the distance from the center. I don't know, might confuse it with diameter, but that's okay. And so we end up with 5 squared plus 2 squared, d squared. That gives us 29, d squared. So d is equal to the square root of 29 right there. And so that is up here. How far from the center? Square root of 29. Thank you.